Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 174. We are in season 5 in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Quote of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeeded. Okay, great. Well, in the American Business Podcast, we have great guests today. And let me invite our guests to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Okay, this is great. Let's update our screen. All right. Hello, Angela. Hello, Travis. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks so much for having us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. How are you? How is your week going so far?
It's been good. Busy, but good.
This is great. Where are you connecting out of?
I'm located in Salem, Oregon.
And Travis?
I'm down in Boise, Idaho area.
Okay, this is great. Well, in the American Business Podcast, as we discussed earlier when we were preparing for the interview, well, we are a national American business podcast, and we love the business professionals and business leaders from different parts of the country. I think this is a great example in the sense that we are connecting different parts of the country today. This is great. I'd love to learn from you today, and if that's okay, let's get started. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners? Angela, would you like to go first?
Absolutely. Yes, my name is Angela Tipton, and I am the co-founder of Tipton Franklin. And particularly, we do thought leadership strategies. So we help businesses develop their thought leadership strategies and elevate the voice that they have in the market.
Travis?
Yeah, and Travis Franklin, also the co-founder of Tipton Franklin, and I get focused on the AI side of things, and it's been a really good option so far.
This is great. Well, also I always ask this question to our guests because I'm really curious and I love our audience to learn from you. What makes your organization different?
So we lead with ethics first, but we also love technology. And starting from the beginning of my career journey, I've always been very passionate about what's new and what's changing. And that's something that really excites me about what we're doing, because we're helping other companies take advantage of that value and really get clear on what they're trying to do with their thought leadership strategies so we can elevate what they are already doing in the market.
Well, we love to also learn about your career path. How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years? And we understand for business leaders, business owners, they have a lot of experience for them to come to this stage of owning a business, running a business. So if you can tell us about your career journey a little bit, that'd be great.
I'll go ahead and get started.
Let's do
So
that.
when I was young, I always dreamed of being an astronaut. And in fact, I decided that I wanted to start my career by being a scientist. So it's funny that I found myself to where I am today in my career journey. But I was inspired by a supervisor that I had many years ago that I think saw something in me that I didn't initially see in myself. And that was this love for marketing and communications. In fact, I had intended, after I finished my bachelor's degree, I was going to pursue a master's in science or a PhD. And that was the track that I was on. But at the time, I very wisely decided to take a step back from school to better understand myself and what I was good at in the world that is careers. And as I did that, I realized that while I have a love for science and technology and what it can do for the world, what I can offer is a little bit different within that realm. And specifically, that's with marketing and communications. I love to connect things. I love to create bridges where there can be a divide between problems and solutions. And so that is when I decided that I wanted to make a pivot into marketing. And I did that after I completed my MBA. So I'm here today. I get really excited about helping other industry leaders connect those problems that they're having to the solutions that are already there. And that's what I get excited about doing, is helping others elevate the great work they're already doing.
Travis?
Yeah, my career path started in a completely different way than Anja. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I went off to college and had a lot of different advisors. Started in accounting and realized that numbers weren't my thing, and had a really good marketing professor who got me interested in that. So I went that route, and it went through so many different channels. I started off in banking. I had a foray into real estate, into law, into agency side, back into the software and technology piece, and then agency side again. So I was very much kind of a winding path, but it was really interesting. And I love the technology side, so it's really been fun to be that. Watch the changes that have happened from the early days of Y2K to where we're at now with AI.
What is the secret of your success, Angela?
Yeah, so what I attribute to my success is perseverance. And I love that quote that you shared from Michael Jordan at the very beginning, because it is so relevant. And I have, like many others, have faced many struggles, and I have chosen to push through when truthfully it would have been easier to just give up and find a different path. But I never lost sight of my goals and my dreams, and I knew what I was working for was important enough that I wanted to push through, that despite those setbacks, that I wanted to continue pushing forward. So perseverance, to put it simply, is what I would say I attribute to a lot of my success.
Travis?
Yeah, mine I would attribute to the fortune of good timing. I think that I was in the right place at the right time at a lot of points in my career, and had really good people supporting me. From mentors to bosses to colleagues and peers. That really made a big difference. And absolutely the fail and fail and fail again. I've had those moments as well. And taking that forward and learning something more about it, and I having the support of others was what got me through those mistakes.
Can you tell us the state of your industry? Any updates, any developments nowadays will be really informative for our business community.
Yeah, I think this one is very relevant in our world. With marketing, I think things are pretty much always changing. That's just the nature of the work that we do. But one of the big factors that I know we'll dive into a little bit more is the changes that are brought on by AI. And it's changing on essentially a daily basis at this point in time. It's very interesting to see others in our industry and how they behave and interact with AI. There are some that take an extremely cautious approach and say, no, we're not going to even dive into this, or we barely want to touch it. And then others that are leaning in full forward and full speed ahead. And what I love about the work that we do is that we help understand, first of all, where different companies sit within that spectrum, but then we also work around that. So some that are a little bit more AI friendly, we can lean a little bit heavier into some of those other pieces. If others are a little bit more concerned about security, then we make some changes when it comes to thought leadership, and we can work within that based on wherever they're at and within that spectrum. So that's one piece that's AI specific, but technology is changing so quickly and so rapidly. And Travis and I are both very passionate about what that technology affords us to do in this space. So we love to lean into that and learn what is possible with that. So I really consider us on the cutting edge of what is possible with it these days.
Travis,
yeah, I think that the industry is really interesting to watch, right? I mean, over the years, it's changed so much, and there's always you hear so much fear of this is going to change things, or this might crash us, and it's always a never-ending story of what we thought we knew was dead, and we always pivot, we always learn. I think from a marketing, from a business, especially even like the small business side, our survival is really about our ability to pivot. And right now, the state of things are in a bit of a survival mode, in my opinion. I think you have to really understand where things are changing, be willing to adapt quickly. And the old way of doing things is no longer. So I think that's pretty significant for everybody to keep an eye on.
Okay, well, you Both of you actually mentioned a couple of times, and I think it's time to talk about it. And this is a popular subject in the American business podcast community, the impact of AI. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays, based on your experience as well as your observation?
It's significant. And as I mentioned, it's changing on practically a daily basis. There are new tools that are becoming available all of the time. It's changing the way that we work. It's changing the way we think about work. It's changing jobs. It really is changing so many aspects of life. And yet it's still so new, comparatively speaking, when we're talking about other technology. So there's still so much that is possible with it. I get really excited about technology, so I like to think about what's next. Yes, I know that there are some concerns about the impact it has on jobs or how it can change the nature of our jobs. But the way I look at it is it's just yet another tool in your toolbox of tools. And you can choose how you decide to work with it. You can decide to be on that cutting edge. You can decide that you're going to just kind of go with the flow. I'm not saying that there's any right or wrong way with how you approach it, but I think it is up to each of us to decide whether or not we want to grasp that and learn as much as we can about it, or if we just follow the tide and learn as we go. And I think that there's so much opportunity here. We've seen it from just being able to develop content. You can put in a very simple prompt and all of a sudden you have this really lengthy article or this really long LinkedIn post, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can put together recipes based on what you have in your pantry. So I have heard of all sorts of really fun ways that you can use AI from a professional and a personal standpoint. So again, I look at it as a tool that makes your life a little bit easier, but the possibilities are virtually limitless at this point.
Yeah, I approach it from a kind of a coworker approach almost. So, for example, I like to really have it's open up almost all the time on my computer, whether it's the apps or the browser's version. The security piece is probably where my concern comes in a little bit around some of those because of the fact that it's in there all the time. I have that access open and I give it so much permission. There's a lot of risk that comes from that. But looking at it from the coworker piece, I think of it as like, what would I give someone that I trusted as an employee or a coworker? How much information would I give them? And I treat it the same way with the AI components. How much it can help me, where it's going to fit in. Like Angela said, the content pieces are incredible. You have to make sure that it's based on good data, though. Like just like you wouldn't ask an intern new in the business to give a deep brief about your company, you have to give them knowledge bases, and it's the same with AI. And I think that the more we look at it as a partner, as a like Angela said, the tool that we can use to make things a little bit better than what we had before. We can do things faster. We can do things with the right information a lot better. And it doesn't matter whether it's, your marketing approaches, your strategic approaches, how you can find efficiencies in your company. There's all these different capabilities that it's bringing. And I don't think that there's ever been a time, at least in my career, there's never been a time that has so much opportunity to transform the way businesses are going to operate.
Yes, my background is business, software and technology, and I talk to different businesses all the time. And when it comes to AI, the question is how we can use it, how we can utilize it, how we can educate ourselves. So these hows are type of questions that I always get about AI, and constantly business owners and leaders, they are trying to learn more about AI, trying to find a way to implement it in their businesses. Just a follow-up question. How business owners and business leaders, especially in small and mid-sized market in the US, which is the backbone of US economy, how can these business owners learn more about AI and adapt their businesses from your point of view?
Yeah, I'd say, a couple of different ways. There's a lot of really good resources on the websites themselves. Anthropic has a really good detailed training system on how to use Claude, how to approach that. I would start there. But the other interesting thing is I don't think there's ever been a time where we've been able to have technology teach us about the technology.
Yes.
So, going to
Great
Claude or
point.
going to ChatGPT and say, like, how can I use this best? Here's my business model. Here's the way that I'm, trying to operate. These are my goals. How should I fit AI into that? And it'll give you really good ideas. And, some of them are going to be a little bit, pie in the sky, but there's also some really good details around, like, hey, can we improve operational efficiencies? Can we find a better way to, get our messaging out? Can we understand our audience a little bit better? Those are tools I'm watching, clients do right now. They're we had one client that took from, they had a multi-week process that now we've been able to shift it into only a few hours. Taking content ideas and building out content that matches the business owner's voice. It doesn't sound like, the traditional kind of if then style of information that we often see when it's generated by it, but you can make it really valuable, make it useful to the people you're using, as long as you feed it really good detail, as long as you build the ideas behind it, with information that's factual, that's information about your business, that's information about you as a human. That's where a lot of opportunity is coming.
Well, okay. Well, these are actually great points. And we talk about also marketing practices in the American Business Podcast. From your point of view, also obviously it's actually your line of business, and we love to learn from in this part of the episode. What are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI nowadays?
Yeah, so leaning into the conversation about AI, I think with how much that technology is changing, with how much is available and opportunities there, I think one of the best things that you can do is lean into the innovation that is AI. And that doesn't mean you need to do everything. It would be impossible at this point to do everything, but identify the one tool. Maybe you ask an AI that whatever it is, how to best use you. Maybe you lean into that and you focus on that. Lean into that AI, and you can gain so much efficiency in just simply incorporating an AI to whether it's creating content for your social media channels or you're writing blog posts, whatever it is. There's so much that you can do there. So if you haven't already tapped into that yet, I'd say definitely explore that, learn what is possible for you and for your business, and where can you gain the most efficiency in doing that. So I think today, with the state of business as it is and with how quickly that technology is changing, to be frank, if you're not in AI already, you're already behind the ball game. If you don't know about the best tools for your business, it doesn't hurt to explore that. And that's something that if you don't know where to get started, that's where Travis and I can to support you as a business as well. We can give you some guidance. We know a lot about the ins and outs of AI. We've used it for various clients throughout the few years. Even though AI is so new, there's so much changing. We really like to make sure that we're understanding the latest and greatest of that technology. And getting to the point that Travis was leaning into a little bit or alluding to, we can customize it to your tone and your voice and make it fit your style for your purposes. There's so much that can be done. It's really amazing and quite incredible. So in terms of an ROI based on what is available in the market today, I'd say if you're not already in AI, start to explore what is possible, because you can get so much value out of it in really a short amount of time. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, from an ROI perspective, I think that leaning into the content generation piece is a really good spot to start. Just because we all want real information, we want to continue to learn, and AI can give us some ideas and where to start, but it takes the experience of a human that's been there and done that to really add value to it, right? I can go onto any of the social channels and I can read a bunch of articles that were just generated without a lot of thought, and not walk away with anything. But I can also come in and I can listen to podcasts. I can read blogs by people I trust. That's where I'm going to find value. And so if as a business owner you're contributing to that knowledge community, I think that's one of the best ways to invest your time right now. AI will give you the outlines and the structure, and then you can take it and make it your own. You can make it valuable to your business. Like find something that's useful to that you want to know, and talk about it and share that.
Role models. Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a few throughout my career, but one that stands out to mind most for me was I had a supervisor fairly early on in my career, maybe a year or so after I had graduated with my bachelor's degree. This is the supervisor that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and at the time I'd been kind of tossing around ideas for which graduate program to pursue next, and I don't even know how it got tossed in. I was really focused on the master's in science or the PhD, but at some point I tossed the MBA in, and it was funny thinking about it because at the time it was just kind of oh, this sounds like a cool idea, but I'm not sure it's right for me. And this supervisor really encouraged me to explore that more. He'd been in the field for a number of years, and he knew the value that an MBA could provide. And little did I know that deciding ultimately to pursue the MBA and then complete it would lead me on a far different path than I ever could have imagined. And it really was such a more satisfying journey that really was a lot more aligned with who I am as a person and what my values are and everything. So I can continue to do great work in the space, but work in something where I can provide a lot more value. So that's been really meaningful. There have been other really great mentors in my life, but that's definitely one that stands out very clearly as someone that set me on the path I ultimately ended up on where I am today.
Travis?
Yeah, it was same with Ange. As early in my career, I had a boss that was absolutely fantastic, and she wasn't actually the person I had hired on to work with, but she, through transitions, came to be my supervisor. And I don't think I ever would have gotten as far in my career as I would have without her. She really talked not just about the business of marketing itself, but also the inner, personal skills that have to be developed to work with different types of individuals, or the traps that can be set that you need to pay attention to and watch for. She really made a huge difference in my life. And then more recently, I had another really I work with him even now as a mentor, and he and I get together, once a month or so and talk about different ideas, where we see things going from the AI space, where we see companies struggling, and it's that exchange of ideas, the FaceTime a little bit with each other that I don't know that I would have made some of the choices in my career right now that I would have. I don't think I would have done it without his advice.
Well, mentors and, of course, role models are very important. They really help us shape our career journey. And I'm sure if you like, we can talk about it for hours because it's very important. The reason we talk about this is because we have a very large audience who are entering into the job market, or who are juniors who just entered job market. And we love to emphasize the importance of having mentors. And do you have any thoughts on having mentors as young professionals in career?
I think it is super important. I would definitely have taken a different path, I think, if it had not been for some of the mentors that I had. And truthfully, I think a mentor can be valuable regardless of where you're at in your career journey. I still have mentors to this day that I find add a lot of really healthy perspective and insight that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So I think for young professionals, yes, it's especially important because you're still figuring yourself out. A lot of times you're just fresh out of school, you're just starting to get into your career. You don't maybe know exactly where you want to go or what you're doing, which is fine. I mean, that's the part of life that you're in. And I remember being in that part of my journey as well. But mentors can help you see things in yourself that you may not otherwise see. It is a journey to exploring yourself and understanding who you are. I didn't just wake up all of a sudden and decide that I was going to be in marketing. It took me years to discover that this was really a good fit for me. And all that to say that a mentor can really provide some really valuable perspective and impact. And I still, like I mentioned, have mentors today. I also enjoy mentoring myself, and having been on this journey, it gives me some joy. It's a sense of joy to be able to share that with other young professionals that may or may not be interested in taking the same path I took, but I can help them see something in themselves that they haven't seen in themselves at that point in time. So I think there's joy in both being mentored and being a mentor yourself as well. So I think it's very, very important. Even as a mentor, you get so much perspective and insight and just satisfaction knowing that you've helped someone in wherever they are in their career journey.
Travis?
Yeah, I definitely think that's it's so much value. I would say if I was giving advice, I'd say there's two things that you really need to be careful for. The first is get started with a mentor really early. Find someone that you respect and let them, give you the ideas. They've been there, they've seen some of the challenges. We're all experiencing unique things right now too from the AI space. Everybody's learning really fast. But the second piece of that too is be very careful on who you pick. Don't just pick someone because that they're like, hey, we'd love to talk with you and mentor you. Find someone that really matches those values. Because if you don't find the right person, they can take you in a wrong direction. One of the people that I respect the most in my career, told me one time, he's like, the reason that I'm where I'm at today and the success I have today is because of the seeds that I planted when I was younger. And he's now being able to harvest those. And that came from multiple ways of not just from a financial perspective and a client growth perspective, but from the human side of it, like where he made connections and peers and friends that carried him forward throughout his career. And that sticks with me. When things are blue, sometimes I remember that. It's like, you know what, there's things that have happened in the past to help you get to where you're at tomorrow.
Okay, well, we have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. I have a question for you coming from our previous guest. I'll ask you that question, and after that, I'll ask you to leave me a question. In this episode, I'll take that question and ask our common guest in the American Business Podcast. Okay, so the question coming from our previous guest is, what would you tell your future self?
I think what I would tell my future self is to, to be grateful for the journey that I've been on. And it's going to have its ups and its downs. We all have them, whether it's your career or your personal life. But I think my future self would most be happy understanding that I've been on this journey and I've been here and I've gone on this for a reason and it served a purpose. So I think what I would tell my future self is thank you. Thank you for being there for me for myself, for the good times and the bad times. I would also say, be sure to show gratitude and thankfulness for your mentors and those around you, because frankly, life is too short and we don't know that we will always have the loved ones that we have around us. And I don't think there is ever a time where you could show enough love and gratitude for those around you. So I think that's what I would remind myself of, is that people have helped me on this journey, and it's important to be grateful for them and to remember them too.
Travis?
I would say trust your instinct. And it's good that you did trust your instincts. I think that especially we know ourselves so well, and we don't necessarily admit that sometimes. We always wonder about the outside influences, and we try and figure out like where we're supposed to be. But I look back in my career, and every single moment that something seemed to have pivoted in the wrong direction, the times where I trusted my instinct were the moments that went the best. And so telling my future self and my past self, I think, to trust the instinct would be the advice I'd give.
Okay, well, what is your question for the next guest in the American Business Podcast?
So I have one, Travis. I don't know if you want to also ask one, but I feel like it fits in with the theme of resilience, and we were talking about failures. I would like to ask the next guest, what is your favorite failure? Because we have all failed at something, and usually we learn an important lesson here and there from those failures. So what is your important failure and why?
I love it. Travis, if you have a question, I'll take it too.
You bet. I love that question. I guess my question would be, if you hadn't gone into the career you did, where would you be?
Okay, I love both of the questions. This is great. Okay, well, in this part of the American Business Podcast, do you have any question that you would like to ask me?
Kevin, I'd like to ask you the same question that we're asking our next guest. What is your favorite failure?
Oh, wow. Well, actually, that's actually a really good question. And I will say, well, so we learn from the failures, right? So that's how we actually looking at things. I will say, I actually, um, how to say this? This is actually, see, the wellness, the sport, the exercise, that type of mindset. I let it enter into my professional life very late. I will say early 30s. So I find it to be a failure. It's because if I want to start it, I will maybe do different things in a different way. That's what I'm thinking. But it was a great way to learn in a way that the wellness and self-care and importance of these into having these into your business life in a practical sense is important. So that's what I've been thinking about before. I was actually thinking about these. Not knowing you will ask me a question, but I thought about this before. So that always comes to my mind whenever I think about something that I will do better. Yeah, so that's a good question. Yeah, I appreciate it. Travis, do you have a question too?
Yeah, you know what?
Go ahead. Well, this is the fun part of the podcast. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Like, what would you have done if you didn't go into the career you picked? I mean, I think that's always interesting. What are some of the choices
Yes.
you think you'd have made?
Actually, also a good point. So, see, one part of my career is actually business software and helping businesses transform their business processes with different software systems, accounting, CRM, business process automation, and so on. And the other part is the American Business Podcast, which is a media organization, fundamental, and a business community. If I wouldn't be doing not the podcast, not the business software, yeah, maybe I would. I'm thinking maybe I will be teaching. I'm thinking. I don't know what I will be teaching, but teaching will be a career I will pick. I'm thinking, yeah, who knows, right? Until it happens, you never know what you're gonna do. But that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, good. Well, what is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Yeah, I think that this is an easy one, but career advice is, I think I underestimated the value of fully understanding myself and knowing who I was as a person. Now that I know who I am today, I of course understand that that provides immense benefits. It means that I better understand the value that I provide to the world. I better understand the things that I'm interested in and what I can offer to the world. So I would say my career advice is, although it might seem simple, learn a little bit more about yourself, what you're good at, what you like, and especially early on in your career, because that will help you immensely. It is harder if you understand those things later on in your career. By then, you've usually gotten yourself into a career or you're a little bit more established. That's not to say you can't make changes and you can't make pivots. I made a pivot. It just might be a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder as you get a little bit older. If you can do that earlier on in your journey, you'll be much better served. So yeah, don't underestimate the value of learning about yourself, understanding who you are, what your values are, and the impact that you want to have on the world.
Travis?
Those are good. I like those too. I think my I have two pieces of advice. I think the first would be, don't settle with what you think you first needed. The first job that you have, that's not the direction your career has to go. You can pick different things. You can, like, if you don't like the job, don't feel like you have to stay. That'd be the first piece. The second piece of advice is, whatever it is you're doing at the moment, be curious and understand the whys behind it. Everything that you're going to do in your future is going to have some sort of relationship back to what you've done in the past. And if you know about the reasons that things were being done a certain way, even if you didn't agree about it, if you're curious as to the why, if you're curious as to the how, that's going to it's going to impact your career in immense ways going forward.
Well, these are great career advice, and the times are changing in the job market, especially nowadays with the impact of AI technology, and times are changing. So these are really important insights that we share with the American Business Podcast audience. For those who like to be in touch with you, learn more about your organization, what is the best way that they can contact you?
Yeah, so a couple of places to reach us are direct on our website, which is tiptonfranklin.com. We also have the thought leadership system.com, which is a very specialized system that's designed to help elevate your thought leadership strategy so that you can stand above the noise. So that's the best place to follow us. We're also on social media. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. I am a huge fan of mentoring. So if anyone wants to reach out and just ask for advice or get input, I'm more than happy to discuss with anyone what is going on in the industry, career paths, things like that. I love connecting with other professionals, younger, older, otherwise. So happy to stay in touch with anyone. But yeah, those are a couple places best to reach out to us. Travis, anything I missed?
No, I think LinkedIn's perfect. LinkedIn.com/in/TS Franklin is mine.
And mine is /Angela LM Tipton.
Angela, Travis, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule, and thank you very much for sharing your professional insights and professional wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
having us, Kevin. This has been great.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great weekend.
You too.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was actually very informative, and we covered different parts of business. We talk about AI, we talk about career paths, we talk about the importance of having mentors and mentorship. What do you think? Who is your mentor? Please share your thoughts and put your comments in the chat box, in the comments. We'll truly appreciate it and join the conversation. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe our YouTube channel, and you can scan this QR code and it'll take you directly to our YouTube channel, and you can subscribe and support us. We'll truly appreciate it. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. There are more than 440 million visitors weekly on Reddit. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable, and millions of users are going to Reddit to get the real feedback from real people. It is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on that I'd like you to consider and take advantage of. When you spend $500 on Reddit for advertising, you'll get $500 in advertising credit. True story. I am a Reddit user, and anytime I like to have feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit and I talk to Reddit communities. I get the real feedback and real review from real people and real communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising. Get the visibility for your company, for your products and services on Reddit with Reddit advertising. Reach people ready to buy your products and services with Reddit advertising. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Anywhere Apps are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps are family of business software products. There are more than 40 products available for business process digitization and automation. Anywhere's apps are easy to use, they are standalone, and they are also ready to integrate with your ERP and accounting software systems. Today, I'd like to promote APS Anywhere, which is part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. APS Anywhere, designed for manufacturing companies. Whether you are a process manufacturing company, food and beverage, chemical, and more, or a discrete manufacturing company, automotive, aerospace, electronics, and more. APS stands for Advanced Planning and Scheduling. APS Anywhere is ready to streamline, digitize, and automate your production planning process. As you know, in manufacturing, production planning is not easy. There are always some bottlenecks and challenges. You need to put together your resources, 3M, man, machine, and material. APS Anywhere designed to streamline this process and automate it for you. It is a modern system. It runs on cloud. It also has deployment options for installation on your server or your private cloud environment. The system is scalable. It comes with unlimited number of production planning scenarios, meaning before you execute, you can see the financial implications and timing of your production planning on APS Anywhere. APS Anywhere comes with a very colorful and easy-to-use Gantt chart so that you can see your production planning on a colorful and easy-to-operate Gantt chart before you finalize your production planning purposes. The system is also integratable. It is ready to integrate your ERP system, MRP system, and other systems whenever there is a need. It is designed for manufacturing companies by manufacturing experts. It also comes with ready-made reports if you like to utilize. Furthermore, on APS Anywhere, you can also use demand forecasting function, meaning based on your past manufacturing and sales figures, the system can predict what will be your demand in the future. This will help you manage your supply chain in a more productive manner. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about APS Anywhere as well as Anywhere App software system in general. There is more. I have a direct line for you. You can send me a direct email, kevin@kerconsulting.com. kevin@kerconsulting.com, and I'll be happy to hear from you about Anywhere Apps, APS Anywhere, or any Anywhere Apps that is offered by Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Otter AI. Otter is the AI note taker that builds your knowledge and powers your workflow with transcription, automated summaries, AI chat, and more. Get your AI-powered assistant for meeting notes, tasks, and more. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up today. Otter AI is the latest note taker that you can utilize, and you can set your meetings, you can take your notes, and you can also set up your follow-up actions automatically with the help of the Otter AI. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from DocuSign. If you are signing vendor contracts and customer contracts very often, just like I do on daily basis, consider DocuSign. DocuSign is the latest modern digital and electronic signature software system. Furthermore, you can manage your vendor contracts, customer contracts, NDAs, and any other commercial contracts on DocuSign digitally with no need of local installation and no need of keeping your documents on your laptop or your mobile device. Furthermore, with the latest technology of DocuSign, it has intelligent agreement management. It recognizes your repeated documents and creates contracts automatically and makes things easier for you. Do you know how many users are there for the DocuSign system? More than 1 billion users. There are many companies using DocuSign and trust DocuSign for electronic and digital signature. True story. I also use DocuSign on daily basis and it works smoothly. Highly recommended. You see the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you fill up the form to start your free trial and join the DocuSign user community. Enjoy your DocuSign experience, and I hope you sign up today. I have the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much, and enjoy the experience. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from YZ. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with YZ, Trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. YZ helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for YZ today. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone is bringing you foreign languages. Learn from the experts, choose your plan to get started, sign up today. New Year is coming, and if your New Year resolution is learning a foreign language, Rosetta Stone is the choice for you. Rosetta Stone is offering you a long list of foreign languages: French, Italian, German, Chinese, Greek, Turkish, Polish, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and many more languages are available for you to get started today. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up for Rosetta Stone and enjoy the learning experience of foreign language. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Care Consulting, now Cherry Beckert. Anywhere Apps are business software systems, and they are designed to digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to focus on contract management anywhere as part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. Contract Management Anywhere is an AI-powered vendor, customer, and legal contract management software system. It is modern, it runs on cloud, it's easy to use, and it's scalable. Because of the AI capabilities of the system, software comes with an AI chatbot that you can get your answers about any contracts that you have. Renewal dates, amounts, start dates, and other details can be learned from the system in a conversation. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about Contract Management Anywhere, as well as Anywhere Apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me a direct email about Anywhere apps and contract management anywhere. Kevin@kirkconsulting.com. I'll be happy to help you and help you schedule a demo session with Team Anywhere apps. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy Anywhere apps. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Norton, advanced tech for advanced threats. Sign up today. Norton offers you different packages to completely save and secure your data and your devices. Each Norton package comes with antivirus, malware, ransomware, and hacking protection capabilities. In addition, there is VPN, private internet connection, dark web monitoring, and parental control capabilities in each package. There is a promotion going on right now. I have the QR code on the screen. You can get up to 60% discount if you sign up right now for one of the packages. There are packages of Deluxe, Standard, Plus, and Select. Depends on the number of devices that you like to connect, as well as the features that you like to utilize when you are using Norton. I have the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the different packages and options available for you. Scan the QR code, go to the page that you like to sign up, pick the package that you like to use, and sign up today. True story. I am also using Norton on a daily basis, and I know all of my devices are secure every single day thanks to Norton. Scan the QR code on the screen and start using Norton today and save your devices and your data in a safe and secure manner with the help of Norton. Thank you very much and enjoy the experience.